Planet Dolan.
Why did people get sick in the 1970s from eating their shampoo? Who tried to introduce us to the concept of a breakfast cola? Some of these ideas are straight up terrible, and some were just in the right place at the wrong time. But here are 10 of the biggest failed business ideas from companies both big and small.
Yeah, what's up, YouTube fans? Sprinkle the one in the building. How we doing today? And today, guys, I got some crazy new content for your face. So here we go. Number 10.
While Google is one of the biggest companies in the world now, there's no questions they've had their fair share of failures. And we're not even talking about Google Glass. No, we're talking about Google Lively, the virtual world environment that launched in July of 2008. Essentially, this was a Second Life or VR chat type environment where you effectively have a chat room with an avatar. But Google closed the service in December of 2008, not even 6 whole months after launching it.
Number 9.
This is actually a concept that has been tried several different times by several different people. One man said he got the idea for bottled water for pets from his dog, who apparently didn't like the taste of his tap water. So he and many others set out to branding their own bottled water, made specifically for dogs and cats. There's just one relatively large problem with this reasoning. If you really wanted to buy bottled water for your pet because they don't like tap water, couldn't you just buy regular bottled water?
Number 8.
Clairol Touch of Yogurt shampoo came about in 1979, 5 years after Clairol's previous failure, Look of Buttermilk. That's not a joke. Both of these are real products that Clairol tried to convince people to put into their hair. Obviously, it didn't work, due in no small part to the fact that they made no effort to explain why they would put buttermilk or yogurt in shampoo. That's why a collection of Darwin Award winners got sick from eating the shampoo, rather than actually using it as, shampoo.
Number 7.
The idea of a homeless tour has been tried many times. One of the first was a Seattle-based business started by Mike Momani. His business idea was to offer people a tour of the city through the eyes of a homeless person. For a few days, you'd go around Seattle with a homeless tour guide and sleep on the streets. That's terrible, man. For this experience, all it would cost is a mere $2,000. That might have even been okay if the money had been going to actually benefit the homeless. But Momani was pocketing most of that money, and his business venture shut down after just a few months despite national publicity. But the idea itself isn't a bad one when it isn't exploiting the homeless. Many European cities have since given well-paying tour guide jobs to homeless people as a way to help them out of poverty. And I mean, really, who would want to pay $2,000 just to be poor? That's not really how it works, man.
Number 6.
In the 1990s, Frito-Lay introduced something that should have been a slam dunk. Fat-free potato chips, fat-free Doritos, junk food that doesn't make you fat but still tastes good. It was a huge success that year. They were the best-selling new product in the United States that year, with over $347 million in sales. But then people discovered Olestra, the flavor supplement that replaced the fat. Olestra tasted like fat, but didn't get absorbed by the body as fat. It just passed straight through the digestive system, which meant that if you ate a lot of it would pass straight through the digestive system, all at once. It turns out a few rounds of explosive diarrhea is enough to make people stop buying your fat-free chips. The FDA warning on the front probably didn't help either. You gotta really tell people, yo man, that'll make your stomach explode. I'm like, what does that mean? You're gonna just poop all day, bro. Straight up doo-doo mountains, man.
Number 5.
Webvan is a story of a business which had a great idea, but just popped up a little before its time. Webvan opened as, get this, an online grocery shopping delivery service. They promised 30-minute delivery using state-of-the-art distribution centers in 10 different metropolitan areas. Sound familiar? It should, because it's something Amazon does now. But Webvan was funded in 1996. The company went public and at its peak was valued at over $1 billion, but they expanded too quickly. Expenses skyrocketed and they went bankrupt in 2001. Oh man, that's so sad. They made a smart idea and then it just failed in 5 years.
Number 4.
Four Loko is one of the number of products in from mid to late 2000s that had the bright idea of combining the ideas of an energy drink and an alcoholic drink. One can of Four Lokos contained as much caffeine as 3 cups of coffee and as much alcohol as 3 cans of beer. The product was successful, especially around college campuses. In fact, it became a little too successful for its own good. People started binging the drinks and blacking out. Eventually, the health drawbacks forced a ban on caffeinated alcohol in the United States, and most of the companies that sold those drinks removed the energy supplements from their formulas. I always thought that people that drank Four Lokos, I would always say to myself, man, that is such a degenerate drink to drink.
Number 3.
So we just talked about Webvan, which was actually a good idea but popped up about a decade too early. WebTV shared a similar fate. The concept was to give people a way to browse the internet on their TVs so they wouldn't need a computer to get online. You know, like a smart TV. Only this was founded in 1995, was based on dial-up internet and predated the concept of apps. In 2001, Microsoft bought the company and rebranded it MSN TV, and while the idea never really caught on, MSN TV remained in operation until 2013.
Number 2.
There's plenty of nostalgia for Pepsi's odd clear variant, Crystal Pepsi, so much that they've even started doing limited run re-releases. But Pepsi AM is never getting a re-release. The cola was branded as a breakfast cola, hence the AM part of the name. Problem is, it was just regular Pepsi with about 28% more caffeine than a normal can. It still had barely over half of the amount of caffeine in a cup of coffee or tea, which is what it was trying to replace.
Number 1.
You ever wonder why major companies have a bunch of smaller brands that they sell different types of food under? Like Kraft Food owns Maxwell House, Jell-O, Kool-Aid, Oscar Mayer, Planters Peanuts, and Velveeta among others, but why don't they just call them all Kraft? Well, this is why. Sometimes you end up with brands that try to do too much, like when Colgate, a toothpaste company, tried to launch a line of frozen dinner entrees. You know what you don't want associated with a delicious plate of beef lasagna? Toothpaste.
What? Danger Dawn, did you know that we have a countdown book featuring some of our best scripts on sale now? Links down below for the physical and ebook versions.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.